There's something really lovely and peaceful here. Me and the boys, we absolutely adore living here. It just smells beautiful and fresh and clean, the air here. You step outside in the morning and it just feels right. Lifts you straight away.
Welcome back to more life at Cottage Tranquillity, and today we'll be looking at various things we're getting up to, as well as more renovation projects.
The sooner the plaster is up and drying, the sooner I can crack on and the sooner I can get that room dressed and marketed, and then start trading. That'd be amazing. It's taken so much longer and so much more money than I anticipated, but I'm pleased with the results, certainly in the oak room, and I'm hopeful that the fern suite will also look beautiful when it's done. It's just at that stage at the moment where it's still very messy. Still quite a few bits to do. Once the oak suite's done and I've got the noisy jobs from the fern suite done, all the cutting with machines and stuff, then I can let the other room out, so I don't need to wait for both of them to be done. So who knows, I may have guests sooner rather than later, which is a little bit daunting in itself, but kind of semi looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be absolutely fine once I get there, but it's like most things, it's that starting. It's anything that you haven't done before or done for a long time, you think, oh, am I going to mess this up? Is it going to be all right? Will it be okay? I don't want to mess it up. But if I don't try, I don't know. Like so many things. And I've tried, and so far, not been too bad at most things. So I'm quite grateful for that. Don't get me wrong, none of it's perfect. I have high standards of myself. So I'm never quite as happy as I could be, but I am quite pleased with what I've been able to achieve. Exciting times. We have shoots of things coming up. So the other day we had some just in here, which we still do, but we also appear to have some coming up in here and some in here. Looks like beginnings of some in here. Possibly something this way groweth. Maybe it's just the right season for it. It is very warm in here today. Just opened sort of sunset, as you can possibly see, through the mucky looking windows. Here are some of the beautiful tulips that have come out, sort of lacy edged tulips. There's some dark purple ones there. Looks like I've got a new one coming, and one wildly strange looking, not sure what that is, whether it is a tulip of a variety or not. Had some peach and green ones and some more purple ones, which seem to be on their way out. But then, just within the rock wall here, a nice beautiful lace edged pink one coming through. What to me looked like raspberry ripple, cream and raspberry pink tulips there. Just so lovely. And some more cream ones there. The stones are actually dug out of a low wall around a flower bed by my brother-in-law Matthew last summer, and then Chris cleaned off a lot of the concrete, and then I placed the bulbs. I mean, look at this one. That one's gone mad. It's got about Oh, I don't know how many heads on that. That's just bonkers. Actually, that one's got about 4 on it. There's another one there coming up with a few. And where my car is currently will be a couple of spaces for guests to park. And here are les chevaux. Look at them, aren't they just so beautiful? So they belong to my neighbours, and it's quite a close community around here, and sometimes they pop them in my field, my paddock over here. Aren't you gorgeous? Stunning. Beautiful horses. Couple more pieces done in here. Toilet roll holder is up. And I have masticed around the base of the toilet there. So that's all now sealed as well. All the way around, and that's plugged in. So basically, apart from a good clean in here on the floors, we're ready to rock and roll, I think. I do need to do some sanding actually. Just want to smooth off some of the edges. Don't want any splinters or anything for guests. So I know myself just how painful they can be. Yeah, going to just give things a light sanding on anything that is reachable. Also want to sand the inside of these down, and also where work's been taking place over this plinth here, although it had been treated before, I want to just give that a little bit of sanding back again, and then treat it again. One has completed the skirting boards, so done the inside there. Now, because of, again, the uneven floor, that's not level, so I had to make sure that the skirting board was level, and then I'll build up underneath with the mastic, the appropriate coloured mastic, so that all looks and fits nicely. Then clear all my rubbish out of here, including all the tools. And the next cleaning up job is in here. Finally crack on and finish getting that section of floorboards into place so that I can then start wallpapering. The plan is to wallpaper that wall all the way around to there, and again I think I might leave wallpaper off the inside relief of the window there, just because if people are going to be sitting with their backs up against it, rubbing at it, you know, I don't want them to wear the wallpaper away. Paint is much easier to wash, clean, and people won't feel bad if something happens to it. I won't feel bad if something happens to it. So I think that'll be much nicer finish. And I'm not sure yet what colour, whether I'll do the inside green or whether I'll just leave it in this sort of white. Now I don't know yet if will have managed by the time I get round to posting this to have retrieved and posted the work that happened for those beams. From the earlier episodes, you may recall that those beams were a god-awful orange colour. Now, the superb help I received from my friend Chris, he spent a week here basically sanding those beams to within an inch of their life. We found the right tool for the job, and then once that had happened, yeah, he cracked on, and he really, I mean, what a mate. That is a hell of a job, knowing just how hard it was
painting the ceilings, to be up there day after day, sanding that back. And I think you'll all agree that the colour of them now is just gorgeous. Again, need to treat the beams with just like a wax, just to seal them and nourish them. But apart from that, and it's a clear one, so they should stay the same colour. But yeah, it's just, I love them, and I'm just, you know, forever grateful for all that help. It was hard, messy work and hugely appreciated. I have cut all of the pieces of the floor, including the new floorboards. That one's not quite sitting right at the moment, but it does fit. It just needs to be seated correctly, which I'll do once I've got the skirting board here and cut. I have 2 pieces left to cut, which are down here, and then I'm going to look at wallpapering. Hurrah! Feeling quite proud of myself. I've had a good old clear up here and clear out. I did check this bit of leftover flooring to see if it fits. As you can see, it is too small for this bit of landing. C'est la vie. I'll just use it elsewhere in the house. And I have finished my flooring. So I'm quite proud of that bit of cutting there around the door frame. So yeah, I don't think my woodwork teacher, Mr. Fisher, would have thought that I'd have been able to do that. Hey, don't get me wrong, it's not brilliant, but it's not bad either for a beginner. So I'm quite happy with those bits of flooring. But for now, it's done. The very first thing I have to do is to reattach this framing edge to the wall as it fell off. And then I shall commence with drawing up all the walls and the lengths. So here I am today, and I have measured up. I fixed up around the door, or window frame I should say. Cut my first piece of wallpaper. So now I'm going to film for you in time lapse and show you me doing a bit of wallpapering in here. Paper does not want to behave. It seemed to be developing bubbles after it was smoothed out, which was bizarre. But onwards and upwards. So you've just seen me cut into that corner. Now the reason I've cut there is because the walls where they join weren't level. So actually it was going to just make the pattern worse if I came across. So I've cut down the line there, and it's almost straight to that wall now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to wallpaper up into the corner there and just start fresh. So there we have it. And it's a particularly lovely wallpaper with all the ferns and the birds and the dragonflies. Back for my next day of wallpapering in the fern suite, and it's not looking too bad. Not happy though, because there are some air bubbles which weren't there when I put it up and have somehow materialised. Sometimes you get air bubbles and they dry out when the glue dries out, but for some reason when the paper has got wet, it's stretched, I think, and created some air bubbles. So just live and learn, I guess. Today is going to be trickier because we are up against the beams. Air bubbles, so flipping annoying. So frustrated about this. So I'm going to go back to my way of doing it, which is to glue the paper rather than the walls. See if that helps at all with the issue that I'm facing. And if anybody knows how to get rid of bubbles, I'm going to be looking at that later. It is coming along quite nicely, I think. I think I've solved some of the issues I was having before with this particular paper, but until it dries out completely I won't know. But I have resorted to pasting the paper because it seems to expand a bit, which was then causing the bubbles. So hence the different finishes, but I'm really quite happy with how this is coming along in here. I think it looks really pretty. I am absolutely covered in glue, having just done this piece behind the radiator, and I'm going to do one more piece, and I'm going to work on the surround around the door, and tomorrow I go and collect some bits and bobs from Angoulême. When I get back I'll crack on with this. There we go. That's the two parts of the frame on there ready to be painted. It's currently glued and that's just drying. Thought I would just do a quick, this is what this room looks like. I absolutely love it. Really pleased with how it's coming together. You never quite tell until all the elements start to appear. Skirting boards have been collected, and also got some wood glue and some wood filler and a door bevel, so that's good. Couldn't find the door noses that I wanted. I also got some flooring for the landing, so that's good, and a couple of bins for the bathrooms or bedrooms, whichever way round people want to use them, but I'll probably put them in the bathrooms. Oh, got some hangers just in case anybody has anything to hang up. In France you tend to find that the armoires tend to be not drawers but shelves mainly. They don't tend to have wardrobes that have hanging space as such. Occasionally you get them, and obviously I've got my English ones, so I will put a few hangers in there, but mainly it'll be folding space for people to put their things. So yeah, a positive and successful all in all shopping trip. So as is my wont when I get back from a shopping trip with new toys, I want to have a look and see what they look like. Now obviously this is not the layout, but the reason for me putting this down was to find out what the gap difference was going to look like. As you can see, it's quite drastic. So I'm going to take one of these, what they call door noses or step noses, marche de nez. I will put that across there. That will fit in. If it leaves any gap underneath at all, then I can use a door bevel as well. But what I'm particularly pleased with, although this is completely different colour to in there and currently up here, but this is where I'm happy. These have got light and dark patches on them, but they match the actual step treads. So, and because they're such a low profile, I mean, they've still got backing on, but as you can see, I'm not going to need, I mean, that's backing. So I'm not going to need to put them up to the edge here. I'm not going to need to put in a stair nose on the edge here, which takes away from some of the lovely character where they're a little bit worn here and there and smoothed off. And I think once they're cleaned up, that is going to look epic. I will lay them in brick pattern, but the other thing that it's told me is, yes, I do need a second pack. But that's a job for another day. In other great news, it does appear that on the whole, this has gone quite nicely and has stayed quite nicely. That has also gone on okay last night and stayed on there. So first job now is to get that cleaned up and then paint it. Now I just want to show you something. Even the smallest jobs are all about preparation. And what you think is a simple job takes more effort than you realise. So I've had to cut off the ends of these in order to fit skirting board. So skirting board will go around there. So it's best that I do that now. I've also, where the wall's not level, some places it is and other places it really isn't, I've had to scrape off the previous stuff and backfill so that it sits flush from that angle. So I've got to go back again now because having carved off the bottom bit, it's moved it, and so that needs to just be tarted up a bit. Also, having taken off this side, one, the wood there needs a little bit of filling, and two, you can see there is a nail sticking out from where the previous people have used a nail gun to put these in. Also, I will need to get a hammer because all along here, where their nail gun hasn't secured them properly, they're sticking out, so I need to get those in. And there we have it, that's all tidied up, backfilled. Once that's painted, should all look hunky-dory. Okay, so I've meshed out this piece. Luckily it's not got any beams to go around because we've already gone around a beam. And in a unusual twist of fate, fitting it down the wall, I was going to cut into the corner like I did in the previous corner and then start afresh. But that piece of paper fits squarely between here and here. As you can see, the wallpaper has taken off a bit of paint there. Luckily, it was the base coat. And the reason I've taken that piece out is, let me just show you. So down here, there are brackets. And in order for this to fit, I need to put the wallpaper in, fit that piece, and then cut around these pieces so that I can get the wallpaper in. So I shall probably do that now, that little piece, whilst dealing with the other bits. When I get to the bottom, there's going to be another tricky piece getting around where those pipes come in through the wall. So, all good fun, but it'll be worth it in the end. I'm getting really excited actually now. This room is getting there. The word arse has never been more keenly felt than when measuring up wallpaper to find that your arm has suddenly been stuck to the paintwork you were doing. Realising you've got to do that again. This is not going to plan. What could we do? Maybe I'll just paint this. Do some cuts and number them for the wallpaper as I go around the room. Not actually do the wallpapering because, yeah, don't want any more incidents. I shall find things to do. There's so much to do. Might do some more scraping of the floor out there. Just prepare that for when I put down the flooring. Given that scraping the floor would have really kicked up dust and I was waiting for paint to dry, I thought that really wasn't a clever idea. Whilst normally I don't mind sweeping up dust gently, hacking lumps of dead plaster off the floor to smooth things out, it's a step too far even for me. So yeah, decided best thing to do was to carry on painting the surround. So I did another coat on the door frame, also did the wooden beading around where the window seat's going to go, especially as I had glued that in the other day, backfilled the glue, and that had kind of yellowed, so definitely needed another coat of paint, so I've done that. And then I started doing the cutting in as low as I possibly could and as high as I could without a ladder, in the landing. So that's that started. Happy with the paint job now on that surround. That is now dry. I have also given a coating to the inside of this frame that we put together, just to avoid any wet paint when it comes to wallpapering this side. I still have some work to do around there, so I'm just going to give that a brief work over before I start wallpapering. But I thought if I can try and get these walls, I mean it should be one wall but it's effectively three, done today, I will be pleased. I still have some minor chopping away to do at the tops where I left bits that need to come out. So I'm determined that today I will finish this. There's 2 more bits, 4 drops, plus a bit there. And then that's the wallpapering done. I say then because they're still not going to be easy ones. But hey ho, we'll get it done. Even if I'm doing this and it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to put the next piece up, and then I'm going to go and put some dinner on. One more piece of wallpaper to fit upstairs, but until then, here's a lovely pimped up pepperoni pizza. Extra cheese, mushrooms, herbs and spices. Best way to do it. Never ever buy a pimped up pizza. Buy a basic one and chuck on all the things you love. There we have it, folks. Finished wallpapering. I haven't finished cutting. That piece there needs to come away from the corner. I've cut it kind of up to as far as the bar. A bit above it needs to still be cut. But the paper is too wet and just wants to tear, so I'm going to have to let it dry. So I folded it away from the wall and only pasted the part that I wanted to stick to the wall anyway. That's the other thing. So yeah, hopefully tomorrow that'll be dry enough for me to cut away, and I can go across and cut away any other little bits and pieces from around the tops here. So yeah, beginning to come together as a room.
Thank you once again for joining us here at Cottage Tranquillity. Hope you really enjoyed this episode, and if you have, please do like and subscribe and share with your friends, and see you for the next video.